Thank you so much for joining us tonight. A former Longview ISD teacher's aide is sentenced to 8 years in prison for abusing students with special needs. 60-year-old Paula Dixon, formerly Paula Hawkins, pleaded guilty today to 3 counts of injury to a child. Tonight, KLTV7's J.D. Conti has more from inside the courtroom.
People know in Grant County, if you do this again, you're going to prison. So that's it. So I'm sentencing you concurrently to 8 years in prison.
Paula Dixon Hawkins, a former teacher aide at Everhart Elementary in Longview, was sentenced to prison today after she abused 10 of her students. Everhart is a school dedicated to special needs students. Tabitha Samus's son is autistic and nonverbal. He was one of the students who was abused in his classroom.
I hope he sets example, because these are educational teachers that are supposed to be teaching our kids, not harming them.
Dozens of videos were shown for punishment consideration. In them, special needs children were heard crying for minutes on end as Dixon on multiple occasions hit students with a measuring stick. In others, she pulls students out of their seats and shoves them to the ground. In one video, she is seen sitting on a student. In another, she places a cardboard box around him and then yells at him from the outside. Parents say the effects of this are far from gone.
He never even harmed himself. He never harmed others. I never had to discipline him. He was a great kid until this happened. I have a whole nother child now.
The defense called a psychologist, Dr. Donald Winstead, who testified that Dixon should never have had her job in the first place. He conducted an IQ test that he says places her on the border of having a learning disability herself. Prosecution pointed to the fact that Dixon has a special needs brother herself and should have known better.
She's a member of the community. She has a high school degree. She's got a driver's license. She's done a lot of things that prove she operates much higher than what he was saying.
J.D. Conti, KLTV 7 News.
Now, in all, 6 former employees at Everhart Elementary School were charged. The trials for the remaining defendants are still pending.